There are two motifs that I can track through my life: service and adventure. What Psi-Tech is right now happens to combine both of those in no uncertain terms. To discover a cure for a disease, or to pinpoint the source of a new disease that no one knew about, that was discovered in a remote viewing classroom. That's adventure, that's discovery. And technical remote viewing combines both of those things. That's why I think I pursued it for so long and so vigorously.
Welcome back to The Other Side. Now let's turn the clock back to 1991. Saddam Hussein is sitting on the top of a vast stockpile of deadly biological weapons pointed at our troops. And these stockpiles were hidden deep in the desert. How did we find them? Our next guest says that he and his company found them through ESP. Let's welcome Ed Dames. Thank you, Ed, for joining us. You know, a country has biological weapons, and that information is kept secret in some place. You then do what?
I was the operations and training officer of the unit, would formulate a targeting package, and we would in essence use a satellite photograph or an agent's description of a place on the ground, and we would go into either an altered state, or we would use the techniques that are commercially available now to provide information on persons, places, things, or events.
Fresh.
That's not
Sweet. Temperatures. Warm.
motion. Retrace the advance. Out of structure. Let's take it again.
Is it possible to sit in a room and see, hear, feel, and sense something that is somewhere else in space and time? The U.S. military spent $20 million to develop the technique to do just that.
Viewers are trained by not knowing consciously what the target is. They are only given in training and in operations a random number connected with the targeting officer's target. That's it. In this case, it's 1147, 1524. Two sets of 4-digit numbers.
Okay.
And we go from here. One of these will be the most important things. By definition, we'll call that the target. At the site is a target, and the other things become context. Meaning needs context. When I heard the word impossible, my ears perked up. Say what? What's impossible again? I institutionalized those challenges to make them valid in the venue in which I was employed, that is, as a military intelligence officer.
He was mostly interested in the extraterrestrial, the ETs. That's his obsession.
Sandy. Dry. Arid.
Technical remote viewing was first developed by the Stanford Research Institute. There, an extremely gifted psychic named Ingo Swann determined that the process could be learned by almost anyone. Swann's protege, a young major named Ed Dames.
My teacher, who was the father of remote viewing, Ingo Swann, said I was very weak on textures, and it became real important really quickly. I knew what was glassy as opposed to metallic and smooth and cold and shiny and fuzzy and furry and bristly. I had to get that down because it actually is very helpful to have a tactile idea of what's at the site. What was the makeup of the SS-18 missile? What were the Soviets really doing in the biochemical arena? Was there such a thing as non-ionizing electromagnetic radiation weapons? What kinds of particle beam weapons were the Soviets developing? What kind of directed energy weapons? Neutral particle beam? Charged particle beam weapons? High-powered lasers? High-powered microwaves? What were the polarizations? What were the frequencies? What were the pulse durations? My agents on the ground could not give me that. The satellites were not doing a good enough job. As an intelligence officer, I needed more.
I really have no personal knowledge of that project at this point, so I can't answer the question, Mark.
Is it true that that project involved people who were tracing the movements of those submarines through ESP?
I'm not going to answer that question.
We get a lot of people in what has been termed the New Age community saying, well, couldn't what you're perceiving be in an alternate reality or in a parallel universe or something like that? The answer to that question is, I don't know. But when I walked up to the general who said, Dames, which way is the enemy coming? I couldn't say, well, in a parallel universe, the enemy's coming this way. Guess where I would have ended up? Out the door. I had to put my bars on the line and say, sir, the enemy is coming this way. Just this way.
Congressman Norm Dix is on the House Intelligence Committee and confirms the use of psychic spooks.
And there are some that have a record of being relatively accurate and having some ability to, in essence, foresee what is going to happen. And obviously, in the world of intelligence, that can be very, very important.
I was a very loose cannon on deck. My superiors knew that Ed Dames could not be satisfied unless he was thrown certain types of bones, those bones being supreme challenges that nobody else could crack. I ran out of those challenges at the end of the Cold War. That's why I founded Psi-Tech, exactly that reason.
We've learned that some U.S. intelligence officials believe they figured out how to train people to be psychic. Now some retired spooks have even taken their skills into the business world, doing psychic intelligence work for American companies.
My retirement was viewed as a loss. It was unthinkable to do what I did, to take a former military tool, remove it from military intelligence, and put it into the public arena. That took any number of my superior officers by surprise and shock. There are some that wanted to nail my ass to the wall, obviously.
More and more businesses are now hiring Ed Dames for research help and even a little corporate espionage.
In fact, we get most of our follow-on customers word of mouth by, you ought to see what these guys can do type of comments.
Ed Dames says U.S. companies have successfully used his services to gather information on everything from future international events to new automobile technology.
He often tells me he's trying to make a dent in history and change mankind with this big idea. So if I say, well, can't you just do ordinary things? And then he gets real upset with me. He became more and more obsessed with it, and then he works very hard, low hours, and he warned me that I better change with him.
Mechanical sounds.
Or he will leave me behind.
Sound like whir, movement, rotating, oblong, curving, down, curving under, diagonal, down. I heard rumors about the remote viewing military program. In the early 90s, I heard that a prominent member of the team had gone private and was living in New Mexico. And so I went down to meet him. I'm dealing with people inside of a structure.
How many people?
1, 2, 3, 4. I was trained by him.
4, 7, 1, 5.
And to make a long story short, he asked me to head up his commercialization of the company. The first thing I did when I accepted the position was move Psi-Tech to the hub of the media and entertainment world, which was Beverly Hills.
We're not going anywhere as a remote viewer. When we use the terms getting the target or going to the target, those are misnomers. What we actually are doing is perceiving a person, place, thing, or an event as a pattern of information. What's the texture right there? Touch it. Soft still.
We began training civilians from all walks of life.
Can you taste it? Touch it.
Yeah, it tastes kind of grainy.
But write it down. Taste grainy.
Grainy.
Our unconscious attention follows our conscious attention, and it overlays a pattern of information in the collective unconscious, in what we call, in TRV terms, the matrix. In the matrix is a pattern of information for all ideas. Ideas have a reality all their own.
What our goal was to get the skill into as many hands as possible.
There isn't anything that Psi-Tech could have done more important than to transfer our technology into the public domain. Nothing was more important than that.
Training 30 people a year was not going to do it. It was just impractical. And that's when we decided to put it on videotape. We had a live crew in the classroom, live, for almost a year, and there was no script.
A horse, great horse, and a rider, and maybe a cactus over here, and yeah. Okay, so we have a Western scene. It'll be a while before everything that I know can be transferred to the public. It will be done. And when it's done, I'm free to do what I want, to have fun with it. The UFO problem happens to be one of those things in terms of fun. I followed a technical remote viewing chain of custody to places here in Polynesia that we very well know to be extremely hot, active sites that I'm about to penetrate. We've uncovered something that's very, very unique in time-space. Here in Polynesia, the item of interest appears to be in a cave, possibly submerged. It could be the Rosetta Stone for the whole UFO problem. We've located that on the map, and now it's time to go there physically.
What is it that you really want out of life? More success and money? Better health? Love?
I discovered myself unexpectedly single over a year ago.
I could have told you if you'd just called me.
Really?
Oh, I'm just having a little fun.
And I decided after I got over the upsetness of it to sit down and remote view my optimal mate, and one popped up.
You may think this is just another self-improvement tape. It's not.
I ended up sketching his face, and I just kind of threw everything aside and said, I don't know this person.
Success are tangible benefits that can result from regular use of the brain supercharger.
I had this company calling me for about 2 years, one of the larger self-help companies in the nation. When the former co-owner sold out his shares, this company wanted to buy the 50% of the shares. I finally got on a plane to go meet the owner of the company, and got off the plane, and there he was.
In the next 30 minutes, you're going to learn about an amazing new technology that will allow you to do that and more. And you're going to meet people whose lives have been dramatically transformed.
And I'm about to get married to him.
Can you determine things like future lottery numbers?
We can very easily look at very large events. Events that have a large momentum along a trajectory into the future. But things that are very small, have a weak signal, or what we would describe as a small spike in the future, are very difficult for us to do. So things like lottery numbers are probably not doable.
being able to have direct knowledge about any person, place, thing, or event, anywhere in time or space. Installing high-level remote viewing skills into your mind gives you an extremely powerful advantage in life.
We felt that this is an innate ability, that it's our birthright, and like language, everybody can learn it. So we wanted to make it available for the public so that everybody could learn it if they chose to.
Be prepared for an adventure that's like nothing you've ever experienced.
Our attention wasn't turned that way. There aren't that many professional remote viewers in the world. We're looking there now for what it's worth.
I asked if you've ever done it.
Have I ever done it? I don't have to. Friends that work there. Why should I remote view it? I just ask them, hey, what's going on? Oh, that's neat. Some of the best scientists in this country. I have been the team leader out in the desert using our remote viewing data and make measurements of hot zones where UFOs come and go. That's as far as we've gone in terms of really getting our teeth into the UFO problem. And that's good. It was adventurous enough for me. But what's next with remote viewing? I don't know what you're going to do with remote viewing, what all you are going to do with remote viewing. I know where I'm going. It has nothing to do with remote viewing. Remote viewing is a mind tool. It's of the mind, okay? I found something deeper than the mind, turning remote viewing on myself. It's a whole lot more sexier than the mind. It's who I really am. This is who I think I am. Bye, folks. Take it, do whatever you want. Have as much fun with it or more than I did. Become better than me. I'm out of here. Fast. And I mean it.
The electric light. How is it possible that one person was able to conceive of and then realize such a dynamic achievement? You see, the secret to better health, happiness, love, and success, it's not something out there. It's something in here. But what's all the excitement about? This. It's called the brain supercharger. What's happening is the amazing Brain Supercharger soundtrack has altered your consciousness by synchronizing your brainwave patterns. Listen, I know what you're thinking, that this is just another one of those half-hour commercials trying to sell you something. But this is different, because when you exercise that power and gain full use of your inner capacities, you can change the world. The magic will rub off on everyone around you. And you'll have answers to questions like, what should I do with my life? How can I become the best me that I can be? I urge you to call and see for yourself the incredible power these mind tools have to offer. You can be the judge. I think you'll be impressed.
Who wants to know everything? It takes the fun. I'd shoot myself if I knew everything. It takes the fun out of life, you know, the thrill of the hunt. I don't want to know everything.
It's no secret that there are more people than available sanctuary locations around the world. So due to recent events, more people than ever have been scrambling to get into a live workshop or event with retired military intelligence officer Major Ed Dames.
A lot of power grids going down, a lot of death. Seeing this pattern that has emerged over all of these years of work, it's frightening to see these. Contact is imperative. Could they stop the kill shot scenario from happening if they even cared to? It's time for people to know what I know.
Sign up for a live event at survivingthekillshot.com. A signed non-disclosure agreement is required to enter a live event.
In all of my days in very dark, deep intelligence work, I have never seen a program such as this one that was subject to more ostracism, more fear, more covetousness, more loathing. It was a hot potato, a white elephant, everything. It was such a controversial thing. The most significant effect that remote viewing has had upon me, and I think upon most people to learn it, hands down, is the fact that one knows, if you're armed with these skills, that you can know anything you want to know.
When you have a tool like this, you find that you can explore the unexplained and you can find answers. The obvious one is, well, the afterlife. When you remote view the person, they are there. They are still themselves. They still have their same identity. They're just somewhere else with a different kind of body in a different world that we really just couldn't comprehend.
There's nothing that you cannot know by virtue of having learned this as a skill. And that fact changes everything. It changes one's outlook on life forever. Even if you choose not to put in the work to know something about what's going on over there or what happened in the paleontological past, you know that you could know. And that fact changes your perspective forever.